Hello friends, I am RM Guru working as Assistant Professor in Sherry Institute of Technology, College of Engineering. Today we are going to deal with module number 3 in which we are going to study layout of residential unit and neighborhood planning. This slide refers to building bylaws for residential area. When we say that it is a building bylaws, the building bylaws are called as building bylaws and development control rules for a particular city. These bylaws shall apply to buildings, activity and development work in areas under the jurisdiction of a particular municipal corporation. These bylaws shall come into force with effect from a particular date, and if there is a conflict between the requirement of these bylaws and the requirement of other existing bylaws, rules and regulation in force, the requirement of these bylaws shall prevail. So we will see what do you mean by building. Building is any structure for whatsoever purpose and of whatsoever material constructed and every part thereof, whether used as human habitation or not, and includes foundation, plinth, walls, floors, roofs, chimney, plumbing and building services, fixed platforms, verandas, balcony, cornice or projection part of building, or anything affixed thereto, or any wall enclosing or intended to enclose any land or space, and signs and outdoor display structures. Tent, shamanas and tarpaulin shelters erected for temporary and ceremonial occasions with the permission of authority shall not be considered as building. Depending upon the occupants classification, the buildings have been categorized into following buildings. First is residential building, second is educational building, third is institutional building, fourth is assembly building, fifth is business building, sixth is office building, then mercantile building, then wholesale establishment, then industrial building, storage building and hazardous building. So these are all types of buildings. We will see what is development. Development with grammatical variation means the carrying out of building, engineering, mining or other operation or over or under land or water, or the making of any material change in the building or land, or in the use of any building or land, and includes redevelopment and layout and subdivision of any land, and to develop shall be constructed accordingly. Then we will see what do you mean by residential building. The residential building is the building in which sleeping accommodation is provided for normal residential purpose with or without cooking or dining or both facilities. It includes one or two or multi-family dwellings, lodging or rooming houses, hostels, dormitories, apartment houses and flats, residential hotels and private garages. This slide refers to building bylaws for residential area. When we say that it is a building bylaws, the building bylaws are called as building bylaws and development control rules for a particular city. These bylaws shall apply to buildings, activity and development work in areas under the jurisdiction of a particular municipal corporation. And first we will see the size of plot. Depending upon the plot area, we can categorize the building into three parts. One is detached building, another is semi-detached building, and third is row type building. So when the area plot is greater than 250 square meter, then we are going to call that particular building as detached building. The plot width should be more than 12 meter. Whereas the second type of building is semi-detached building. It has got the plot size ranging from 125 square meter to 250 square meter. It is having the frontage in the range of 8 meter to 12 meter. Similarly, row type building, it has got a plot area ranging from 50 to 125 meters square. It should have a frontage of 4.5 meter to 8 meter. This slide refers to detached building, semi-detached building and row building. In case of detached building, the marginal distances are kept on 4 sides. In case of semi-detached, only 3 marginal spaces are left, whereas in case of row bungalows, only front and back margins are provided. The second point is area limitation. The limitation of area and height of building of different type of construction and occupancy class is achieved by satisfying floor area ratio. The floor area ratio is specified taking into account the following aspect. First is occupancy class, type of construction, width of street frontage, parking facilities, local firefighting facilities, and water supply and drainage facilities. Hello friends, I am RM Gurur, working as Assistant Professor in Sherry Institute of Technology, College of Engineering. Today we are going to deal with module number 3, in which we are going to study layout of residential unit and neighborhood planning. Then we will see margin. The open spaces inside and around the building, particularly residential type, have to provide to cater for lighting and ventilation requirement. There are 3 types of margins. One is front open space, second is rear open space, and third is side open space. For building up to 300 meters square plot area, the following marginal spaces are kept. First we will consider the plot area up to 50 meters square. Then the front marginal space should be 0.75 meter. Secondly, if the plot area is lying in between 50 meters square to 75 meters square, then front open space should be 1 meter, rear open space should be 1 meter, and side open space should be 0.5 meter. Then we will consider the case number 3, that is the plot area in between 76 to 100 meters square. Then in that particular case, front open space shall be kept as 1.25 meter, rear open space as 1 meter, and side open space as 0.5 meter. Then we will consider case number 4, that is plot area in between 101 to 150 meters square. Then in that particular case, the front open space should be 2 meter, rear open space should be 2 meter, and side open space should be 1.25 meter. Then we will consider case number 5, in which the plot area is in between 151 to 200 meters square. So in that particular case, front and rear open space shall be 2 meter, whereas side open space shall be kept as 1.25 meter. Then we will consider the last case, that is if the plot area is in between 201 to 300 meter. So in that particular case, the front open space shall be kept as 3 meter, whereas rear open space 2 meter and side open space of 1.5 meter shall be kept. So as per the building bylaws, for building above 300 meter square plot area and height up to 13 meter, minimum front setback changes with the width of a road. For example, width of road is 12 meter, then minimum setback is 3 meter. When the width of road is 12 to 18 meter, then minimum setback of 4 meter. Whereas if the width of road is 18 meter above, then minimum setback of 4.5 meter shall be kept. Secondly, the minimum rear setback for all the categories should be 3 meter, and minimum side margin shall be 1.5 meter and 3 meter respectively for the plot area in between 301 to 670 meter square and above 670 meter square respectively, whichever. Then the height of building. Height of building according to width of street. First, the maximum height of building shall not exceed 1.5 times the width of road. For building in vicinity of aerodromes, the maximum height of building is fixed in consultation with civil aviation authorities. The height shall not included if building is erected 1/3 of roof area, including roof tank and its support, ventilating lift rooms, roof structure other than penthouse. The plinth height is decided based on the ground level from drainage consideration and depend upon the water or soil. Minimum plinth height shall not be less than 450 mm. Minimum height of 600 mm shall be the best for drainage or other consideration, whereas in case of waterlogged soil, the minimum plinth height should be 900 mm. Then minimum size of different rooms. So depend upon the nature of room, maybe habitable room, bedroom, living room, study room, the minimum area of 9.5 meters square shall be kept, with a minimum size of side shall be 2.4 meter and the height of 2.75 meter should be provided. Whereas for kitchen, minimum area of 5 meters square shall be provided with minimum size of side 1.8, whereas height shall not be less than 2.75 meter. Then the bathroom and water closets. The minimum area of bathroom and water closet shall not be less than 1.8 meter square with minimum width of 1.2 meter and the height shall not be less than 2.1 meter. For storeroom, minimum area of 3 meter square shall be provided, whereas the height of storeroom shall not be less than 2.2 meter. Then the garage area shall not be less than 12.5 meter square with minimum size of side should be 3 meter by 6 meter and the height shall not be less than 2.4 meter. Then regarding the staircase, the minimum width of stair is 0.9 meter with a clear headroom of 2.2 meter with rise and trades 250 meter trade and rise of 190 mm for residential building. Then the building requirements. So depend upon the unit, maybe room, shop, office, the minimum floor area should be 9 meter square with minimum side of 2.4 meter, whereas for kitchen the minimum floor area should be 3.8 meter square with minimum side of 1.8 meter. For storeroom, the minimum floor area shall be 3.6 meter square with minimum side of 1.8 meter. For puja, bathroom, pump, coal and dressing rooms, the minimum floor area of 1.35 meter square shall be provided with minimum side of 0.9 meter. For garage, minimum floor area of 12 meter square with dimension 2.7 by 2 meter, whereas for WC and bath, minimum floor area of 0.81 meter square shall be provided with minimum side of 0.9 meter. Then for study room, the minimum floor area of 3.6 meter square shall be provided with minimum side of 1.8 meter. For stall, minimum floor area of 0.9 meter square shall be provided with minimum side of 1.8 meter. For toilet, minimum floor area of 1.75 meter with minimum side of 1 meter shall be provided. Then basement or cellar. The basement shall not be used for residential purpose. The basement to be constructed within the prescribed setback and the building lines and subject to maximum on entrance floor may be put to only the following use: storage of household, strong rooms, bank cellars, parking places, and air conditioning equipment and other machine. Then we'll see the requirement of basement. The height of basement from the floor to the underside of roof slab or ceiling shall not be less than 2.4 meter. The maximum height of ceiling of any basement shall be 0.9 meter and maximum 1.2 meter above the average surrounding ground level. Then adequate arrangement shall be made such that surface drainage does not enter the basement. The walls and floor of basement shall be watertight, and the access to the basement shall be separate from the main and alternative staircase, providing access and exit from higher floor. The next is compound wall. Except with the special permission of the maximum height of compound wall shall be 1.5 meter above center line of front street. It is permitted up to 2.4 meter when the top of 0.9 meter is open type construction. In case of corner plot, it is restricted to 0.75 meter for a length of 10 meter on side and front intersection. The balance height of 0.75 meter may be made through railing and of design to be approved by the authority. Next is mezzanine floor. The minimum height of mezzanine floor shall be 2.2 meter. The minimum size of mezzanine floor, if it is to be used as a living room, shall not be less than 9.5 meters square. The aggregate area of such mezzanine floor in a building shall in no case exceed 1/3 the plinth area of building. Then we will see the applicability of the bylaws. In addition to the provisions contained in section 44, 45, 58 and 69 of MRTP Act and the Corporation Act, the building bylaws shall apply to building regulation activity given under 3.2 meter. These bylaws shall apply to all development. Further, the bylaws shall apply to development work defined under bylaws number 3.2.1 to 3.2.5, where the building is erected. These bylaws apply to the design and construction of building. Where the whole or any part of building is removed, these bylaws shall apply to all parts of building whether removed or not. Similarly, where the whole or any part of building is demolished, these bylaws apply to any remaining part and to work involved in demolition. Where a building is altered, these bylaws apply to whole building whether existing or new, except that the bylaws apply only to part if that part is completely self-contained with respect to facilities and safety measures required by the bylaws. Where the occupancy of building is changed, these bylaws apply to all parts of building affected by the change. Then existing building or use. Nothing in the bylaw shall require the removal, alteration, nor prevent continuance of the lawfully established use or occupancy of existing building or use unless in the opinion of authority such building is unsafe or constitute hazard to the safety of adjacent property. The following operational construction of government, whether temporary or permanent, which is necessary for the operation, maintenance, development or execution of any of following services may be exempted from the point of view of bylaws. railways, national highways, major ports, airways and aerodromes, post and telegraph, telephones, wireless, broadcasting and other like forms of communication, regional grid for electricity, and any other service which the state government may, if it is of opinion that operation, maintenance, development or execution of such service is essential to the life of community, by notification declared to be service for the purpose of this clause. However, the following construction of government department do not come under the purview of operational construction for the purpose of exemption under bylaws number 5.1.1. New residential building other than gate, lodges, quarters for limited essential operational staff, roads and drainage in railway colony, hospital, clubs, institute and schools in case of railways, and a new building, new construction or new installation or any extension thereof in the case of any other services. Thank you friends for your kind attention.